Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. We're glad to have you on this Lunch and Learn session today. I am Amanda McDaniel with the Alumni Association. I'm the Director of Affinity Relations, and we are so glad to have you here today. The weather is a little crazy out there on campus today, so we hope everybody's staying safe. We're so thrilled to have Coach Jones with us today. He is the 31st all-time head football coach, and he was announced on December 12th of 2020. He brings 11 years of head coaching experience at the NCAA FBS level. He had previous stops leading programs at Tennessee, Cincinnati, and Central Michigan. But I think most of note was he spent the last 3 seasons working as part of Nick Saban's staff with the powerhouse, Alabama. As his 7 seasons as head coach, his teams combined to win 4 conference championships, played in 8 bowl games, and he finished ranked in the AP top 25 5 different times. And he coached a combined 77 all-conference nominees and 27 NFL draft picks. He's coming with a stellar record, and we're so excited about that. He is a 1990 graduate of Ferris State University in Michigan, and he was also a 2-time letterman on their football team at Ferris State. He and his wife, Barb, are the parents of 3 sons, Alex, Andrew, and Adam. And again, we're so pleased to have you here today, Coach Jones. And I'm going to turn it over to you because everybody wants to hear from you today.
Well, thank you, Amanda. And first of all, I'd like to say happy St. Patrick's Day as well. And just thank you for the opportunity. And I tell this to Kelly all the time. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be the head football coach at Arkansas State University. And it's something that I take very seriously. I take great pride in that. And this is the exciting time that we're going through right now. And before I get started, I also like to thank everyone for their support and, what you do for not only our football program and for athletics, but the entire university. And so it's been an exciting journey. And I was kind of going to give you kind of an update to kind of where we're at from a program standpoint, and then talk about a few things, and then really I'd really like to just open it up and kind of be an open dialogue and get all your questions that you may have answered. But, right now we're in our 9th week of training, and coming in here, we had to make sure that we had 7 weeks in the strength and conditioning area. And, everything is almost like building a program from ground zero in terms of, these kids have not had a strength and conditioning program for over a year. When you look at, they had early spring ball last year, and then COVID and the pandemic hit, and then they didn't lift it all during the season. So they basically went almost an entire year without a strength and conditioning. So what we found out, which could be expected, is our strength numbers were way down. There's a thing called a DEXA scan that is the greatest thing in terms of measuring your body composition, your body fat, your lean muscle mass. This is something that we did when I was at Alabama, and we drastically changed our strength and conditioning program because of it. And DEXA scans are very hard to find. I want to say there's only 3 or 4 collegiate football programs across the country that have that. And in the Arkansas State way and fashion, we found out that we do have one on campus. And everyone's been remarkable. So we brought 40 players over. And, we had individuals that had as high as 44% body fat composition. And so, that really led us to the 7-week kind of charge of what we needed to do in the weight room. And now we're in the midst of spring football. You're allowed to have 15 practices. And as of right now, we're expecting to have the stadium opened at least in some type of capacity. And that's April 17th. That'll be the spring game. So like I said, you're allowed 15 practices. And right now we've gone through 4. 2 of them were in helmets, so those are kind of a wash. But, the last 2 practices, Saturday and yesterday, were in full pads. And we're a week in progress. I really do like our kids. They're very eager. They're very willing. but we just got to continue to lead them the right way. And, just like taking over any program or any business, any organization right now, it's all about building our principles and our values of our organization. And it's really building our culture. And, that's as big as anything that we're doing. And we actually had a 2-hour staff discussion, about a month ago, on really what is culture. And, everybody, I think, uses that term very loosely. What is culture? How do you define culture? And do your employees, or do the individuals in your organization believe in your culture? And that's so very, very important. So we spent over 2 hours about, I'm a firm believer, you walk into any organization, any athletics department, any university, you can smell the culture. What does it smell like? What does it feel like when you're there? You can just you just can sense it. And I've always talked about culture is really the behaviors you accept, and you have to define them, but everything has to be clear, clean, concise, and direct. Today's generation, they spend 8 to 10 hours on their cell phones. And, I talk to our coaching staff all the time, is there's a difference between being a teacher and being a presenter. Anybody can get up on a PowerPoint and present information. Teachers are very hard to come by. How do you teach? How do you continue to grow? How do you continue to elevate? How do you conduct a meeting? So those are all things that we talk about within our culture. And today we have a team meeting, and John Gordon is a very, very close friend of mine. And he had a great quote, and we're going to talk about this as a team today. And it goes like this: culture is dynamic, not static. Every person on our team creates our culture every day by what we think, say, and do. So we're going to go back and we're going to talk about it, because right now we're in the midst of creating our habits. And once you create your habits form who you are. And so when we went and we defined our culture, we defined it in one word. So if you see any of our coaching staff members around, or any of our players, I would ask that you ask them, hey, tell me about your culture. What is it? And it should be defined in one word. And that one word is driven. Everybody in our organization has to be the best version of them each and every day. They have to be driven to be the best student, the best person, the best football player, the best teammate. Um, Same thing with, the equipment room, our secretarial staff. And, it's interesting is, Paul Bear Bryant used to say this all the time in our industry, is we get older every day, unfortunately, but the individuals that we deal with on a daily basis never get older. They stay the same age, 18 to 22 years old. So you better be able to adapt and adjust. Coach Saban used to say this all the time. There's a reason why dinosaurs no longer are living. You either adapt or you die. And so everything is about being able to adapt, um, to what these individuals have going on in their lives, understanding their situations. And it helps me a little bit because I have 3 boys. My oldest son played for us at Tennessee. He was with me at Alabama, and he's now an offensive analyst here at Arkansas State. And he actually is living with 2 coaches. He moved in, and they have a very nice townhouse in downtown Jonesboro. So it's a pretty neat deal that they have. And then I have a son who was in his second year at college. He was at Central Michigan, played receiver, played as a true freshman, and he transferred here. And he actually enrolled March 8th. So he's going through practice right now. And then we also have a 14-year-old who's going to finish school in Knoxville. And then they're moving here once the school is over with in May. But I see things a little bit differently because not only am I the coach, but I'm also a parent, and I have two sons that are involved in our football program. So you kind of always look at the welfare of the student athlete and how does it affect them, and all those things that go into that. So everything was about creating our habits, kind of creating our mentality, our style of play. It's like, hopefully if you watch the videos, our shirts are tucked in. All the things that we talk about. And I told our team this: by tucking our shirts in, by being on time, by having the principles and values, is tucking your shirt in going to help us win a football game? Probably not. However, when you add up all the principles and values, what that does do, it's a cumulative effect that creates discipline. And that's how you win football games. And Bill Belichick is a very good friend of mine. And he told me something that I took to heart. And it's kind of a little league approach. And it's kind of dumbfounding when you talk about it. But we talked about, before you can ever win a game, you have to not lose the game. And more games are lost than they're won by lack of discipline, pre-snap penalties, lack of effort, turning the football over, all those things that, we talk about, that playing with the intangibles that championship football teams have. Those are important. So, we've made sure that we've defined our core values with our team. They know them all, our team rules, but also our culture. And we talk about, every day you're working to be a champion. There isn't one thing in our building we never talk about winning championships. And if you look at today's generation, everything is outcome oriented. Everything is outcome results. So what happens is I'm a receiver and I say, well, I got to catch 8 touchdown passes. I'm a defensive lineman, I got to have 10 sacks. Well, when you create those parameters, all you're doing is creating anxiety. You're creating anxiety amongst yourself. So instead of focusing on the results, we're going to focus on the process, and we're going to focus on the process. And what that is that's the things that you need to do in order to accomplish your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. So, okay, I want to go have 50 catches. Well, instead of thinking about I got to have 50 catches, go do 100 catches on the jugs machine. Make sure you follow the process of what it takes to be the best version of you every single day. And so, that's kind of, you see the t-shirts that everyone has. It says the process. We've defined the process for them. And again, it's all being your best version of you every day. We'll never look up at the scoreboard. We should never know what the scoreboard is. We should just play one snap at a time, snap and clear, and move on to the next play. And that's the thing that we've been talking about to our players is, you want to make mistakes in practice, but you never want to waste a failure. You want to make sure that through that mistakes, that's how you learn, but you never make the same mistake twice. So that's a lot that kind of has gone into that process, and just focusing on being the best program. And uh, one of the other things I did, and it's creating a mentality, and you have to create love and ownership. That's one of our 3 core values, is love and ownership. And the more you invest, the more you own things. So I kind of like to put things in terms of kids. So everything is about your sneaker game, your shoe game, what type of Jordans you have, what type of Yeezys you have. So I said, okay, you go out and your girlfriend buys you a pair of $550 Jordans. You're probably apt to wear them when they rain, and you're probably not going to take as good a care of them as if you had to purchase those $550 pair of Jordans yourself. You'd probably spray them, you'd probably keep them in the box, and you wouldn't wear them on a rainy day. Well, it's the same thing with our football program. The more you invest, the more you own it, the more you're going to take great pride in it. So the first team meeting we ever had is, I gave them an index card, and I said, I want you to write down in your mind the top 3 college football programs in America. So, obviously you got your Alabamas, your Clemsons, your Ohio States. And then I started tallying some of them. I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, look at me, because what I have to say is very, very important. I said, there should only be one name on your card, and that's Arkansas State. We are the best college football program in America, and we are building the best college football program in America. And I said, that's got to be your mindset. That's got to be everything that we are, because that's what I'm building. We're building the best college football program in America. I don't care what conference you're in. It's a mentality. When I was at Central Michigan, we were 22-3 in league play. We beat Michigan State and Indiana back to back. We had a 2-game winning streak versus the Big Ten. We went into Michigan State and beat them when they were 17th in the country. Our kids actually believed we were the best college football program in the entire state of Michigan. And we would play them any place, anywhere, anytime. And that was a mentality. We were an Adidas sponsored program. They had to build a special bookstore at the stadium because we led all Adidas schools in apparel sold. We sold out our student section. We had over 10,000 students in our section. I would walk the campus, which I am doing here. And if anybody wore another school's colors, shirt or hat, I'd invite them over to my office and I'd give them. And I told them, I better never see you wear another school's colors, because you are a Red Wolf. That's what you represent. It's a mentality. It's a mindset. And the thing, I've already done the track around Jonesboro, so I like to go to different places to eat. So if anybody needs any good places, I can probably help you there. But I've tried to go into all the bars and establishments and all that, and I have a checklist. I'm kind of looking to see what they have on their wall. So right now, on our equipment guy, I want every restaurant, every bar in the city of Jonesboro to have an Arkansas State helmet. And I want to provide them with a helmet. I want to provide them with anything we can, because it also affects recruiting. So we recruit at a whole different level. And, in their interview process is, I talked about, we want to take an SEC recruiting approach. And I know everyone gets tired about hearing about the Southeastern Conference, but I'm here to tell you it is different. It is a different way of life. It's a different way of life in your facilities improvements. It's a different way to, every day is 4th and 1 for the national championship. The way you build your program, the way you recruit, the way you evaluate, the way you practice, everything. And the way I describe Jonesboro to our prospective student athletes is, it's a mini SEC town. It's passionate, they love football, and they're very, very supportive. And so when they come on campus, I want them to feel the energy of Arkansas State University with everywhere they go. And that's the great thing about being a CEO, being a chancellor, being a president, being a head coach. You get to paint the vision for what you want. You get to create the culture. And I tell our team this: we are responsible for what we create on a daily basis. So, that's some of the things. I'm excited about our coaching staff. Probably the best thing I did, looking back on it now, is hire our director of recruiting. He was my first hire. And again, he understands the SEC approach. He was with us at Tennessee. He was running the recruiting at Mississippi State. If you just look at our recruiting department, and what you guys got to understand is, we have people that have left big time jobs, and they have taken major pay cuts. And I'm talking, we have one individual that makes $15,000 a year when they were making over $40,000 a year to come to Arkansas State. So I'm extremely proud of our staff and our support staff. But if you just look at the dynamics of our recruiting department, Matt Wilson runs our recruiting department. His cousin is the GM of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was with me at Tennessee, went to Indiana. He's one of the reasons why they made the jump that they made. And then he went to Mississippi State. He's leading our recruiting efforts here at Arkansas State. His number 2 was with us at Tennessee. Our on-campus recruiting individual is Tessa Akers, who ran the recruiting of on campus at Colorado and most recently Michigan State. So they understand, and in today's world of where we're at with Zoom and all that, your recruiting department better think strategically. I always tell them, I want to lead the country in innovation. So you have to make sure you have the dynamics of, you saw what's going on with social media. We have one individual who's doing it. And I don't even want to tell you what he makes, but he's phenomenal. And you look at what our branding has done. We did all the social media splash yesterday, and the amount of followers and what people are watching. Again, it's all about recruiting. You get to create the message and the brand. So why would we not take control of that and create the branding and the messaging? So you look at that staff of 4 and what they've been able to do. So I hired Matt, and we put together a signing class in 7 days of 15 individuals. And I'm here to tell you that probably 3 of them are SEC players. And if they wouldn't have signed early, we probably would have lost them. And, I never want to again, I'm following the process and not being result oriented. But I would be disappointed if we didn't have 3 to 5 NFL prospects, high prospects, out of this first year's recruiting class. And I told our staff, I want to be top 30 in recruiting. I don't care. It's a mentality. It's our approach. I don't want anybody to ever tell me, well, you're at Arkansas State or you can't do this. We can do anything we want to do. And it's a mindset and it's a culture that's what we're building. I don't know how long it's going to take us. Could it take us 3 years, 4 years? Maybe. But we just got to focus every day of being the best version of ourselves every day. So I hope I didn't bore you. I love talking about this stuff. I love talking about culture building and what goes into it. And I'm excited for you guys to kind of see the product that we'll put on in terms of effort, mentality, love, and ownership. We're big into body language. I talk about no BL with everything that we do. No palms up, no smacking the lips, no hands on the hips, no upward look of the eyes or downward of the eyes. These are all things that we talk about. I know some of y'all had a question in terms of career development for our team. Is every Wednesday we have what we call our 4th and 1 program. It focuses on personal values, our core values of our team. It's our personal growth and development plan. We have a year-round leadership development program that I run, and Jeff Jones, our strength and conditioning coach, runs. So, we talk about that. What I'd like to do, my vision is within a year is have a job fair for our players that's run by our former players. I've done it everywhere we have, and it's been a huge success. So all of our former football players, that whether they're police officers, firefighters, CEOs, lawyers, doctors, they come in for a great Friday, and we have a job fair, and it's for all of our juniors and seniors in our football program. They do their own resumes. We create business cards for them, and that's something that we teach them how to network. And I think it brings in our alumni, and really, I'd like to just have it really not just our former players, but all of our alumni. So they come, they share a night, we have a dinner with them, and they get to learn about our players, and our players get to learn about all of our alumni. And then that's how they also create great contacts with everything that goes into play with that. So we do a lot in terms of career development, but also personal branding, personal growth and development. We call it 4th and 1 because life is all about choices and decisions. And a lot of times our choices and decisions are split second decisions, just like 4th and 1. There's more missed assignments on 4th and 1. So all that's very, very important. So I would kind of maybe let you all ask questions and kind of lead the way. The other thing I would like to bring up, and I talked to Chancellor Dampus's leadership class about this. So you get to paint the vision, okay? And I know we're all alumni and proud alumni, Okay. I want to create the best student section in America. The first thing you have to do is you have to create ownership. So I want to have a student run contest of naming our student section. And I told them it's an opportunity for you to leave a legacy here at Arkansas State when you graduate and you bring your kids back and your family back, and you're able to say, I had a hand in naming our student section. And then what I envision is on a Wednesday or Thursday, the night before our first home game, us setting up a big tent in the center of campus, and every student gets a student section t-shirt with the name on it. And when we take the field, we actually run to the student section. And then when we win the game, we will come over and sing the fight song with the student section. And I just think that creates a great home field advantage. We have 2 Thursday night games, and that is a tremendous, tremendous opportunity for Arkansas State University and for the entire state of Arkansas and the city of Jonesboro to be on display. You don't have enough money to pay for a 4-hour commercial. We need to sell the stadium out. That's got to be our mission. We at 4 hours, we have the entire United States of America watching our product and watching our passion and our energy. And we get an opportunity to display that. That helps student enrollment, that creates ownership, and it helps recruiting. And we got the platform of a national audience 2 times where nobody else is playing in order to do that. So I'm going to need everybody's help in kind of champion that cause of kind of having a sellout Centennial Bank type, what do I want to say, something to create the excitement to sell the stadium out because it's going to benefit all of us. So that's kind of some vision type things. But Amanda, I'll kind of let you take over. And if anyone has any questions, we'll try to get them answered.
Okay, great. You were talking a lot of emphasis on recruiting, which is so important. And one of the questions that was submitted was in reference to recruiting. And it says, your staff has refreshingly emphasized recruiting Arkansas and building bridges with area high school coaches. Why is that important to you? And how do you feel about the talent level currently in Arkansas high school programs?
Well, I think it's very, very critical, and it's a pride of who we are. We're one of the state universities in the great state of Arkansas. Why would you not want players that have grown up in this state, represent this state? And so we do. We have very good football here. And part of building a great, strong football program is not only scholarships, but having a tremendous walk on program. And everywhere we've been, we've had an average of probably 2 to 3 walk-ons a year earn scholarships. And I'm telling you, we hit the jackpot this year. We had individuals from all over the country turn down scholarships to come walk on at Arkansas State. So I think the walk-on program is absolutely critical in growing and elevating our program. But, every coach on our staff, all 10 full-time assistants, have an area in the state of Arkansas in terms of geographics, in terms of recruiting. So that's very, very important. I want to make sure we reach out to all the schools and really build an affinity for Arkansas State with everything that we do. And I want them to know us the best. So yes, in-state recruiting is very, very critical, and we're going to always start there first.
That's great. And kind of piggybacking on that, there was another question submitted about coaches in middle and high school level. Is there anything in regards to someone that is a coach at that level currently in Arkansas that they could help to deal with the parents, the community, to help with that recruitment culture? Like, what would you like to see them doing on that level so that they're prepared when it's time to be recruited by Arkansas State?
I think the big thing, first of all, is relationships, and as much Arkansas State paraphernalia you can wear, the better, the more advertising. If you're a teacher, having, like one of the most important things we have to do is create a great, great dynamic poster for this coming year and make sure that everybody gets it. And that's an opportunity to display it. So the first thing I do when I walk into high schools is I walk in and meet everybody in the front office, all the secretaries, all the support staff, and then I go meet all the guidance counselors, and I make sure that that guidance counselor has something displayed of Arkansas State, whether it's a mini helmet, whether it's a poster, whether it's recent ACT dates. That's the other thing I do when I walk into schools. I kind of have a checklist. So I know a lot of the admissions offices go around. I look at schools' posters from different institutions. The worst thing that could happen for one of our assistant coaches is me to go into one of their local high schools and they have other schools displayed and not Arkansas State. So they kind of are getting to know me and the expectations. But I just think as much branding, and then, you know, in terms of middle school coaches, you have a chance to really build a relationship and be impactful. And I think teaching them the fundamentals of the game, I think that's really lacking right now because everyone's about the end result. And I think, really treating every young person on an individual basis and being there. I know that I have a 14-year-old and he's got some of his coaches are mentors to him. And then there's other coaches that, have not been good for him. And so I think just teaching the fundamentals, being able to relate, letting them have fun playing the sport, let them grow an affinity and a love for the sport and teach them competition, teach them how to react when things don't go their way and how to stay positive. I think that's the big thing is, when things don't go your way, this is the most stressed out generation of all time because everything is about the end result. Nobody wants to focus on right now. I have 20-year-old coaches that think they should be the head football coach. Well, what makes you think, hey, why don't you be the best version of a graduate assistant that you can possibly be? So I think just teaching them those things.
Definitely. And sort of along those lines as well, someone submitted a question about returning to football operations. They were looking into returning to that career path. And what do you think are some valuable traits and skills that you would look for if you're going to hire someone into the program?
You said director of football operations?
Operations, yeah.
Yep. Boy, that's a very, very long skill set. And that's one of the most important positions we have here. You have to be a great communicator, the art of communications. Um, and I think the other thing is being extremely organized and very detailed, along with being detail oriented and being able to communicate is anticipatory skills, is the ability to anticipate what's coming next. And if you're not, you're always going to be working from behind. So, what's coming next, being very detail oriented, trying to stay one step ahead. And, I always say thinking is free, is, being able to think strategically and then, being able to be a resource for everything that's needed as well. But being highly detailed and highly organized is very, very important.
Yes. Someone else submitted a question, and it says, after your time at Tennessee and Alabama, what is one thing that you would do differently?
Well, I will tell you this, being at three different places and then four with Alabama, you know, you're able to apply things that you liked and you take, bits and pieces with you. It's just like you take bits and pieces from every head coach you've ever worked for. And those 3 years at Alabama were wonderful. They were critical because uh, a lot of people lack the ability to self-assess. And I was able to really be hard on myself, self-assess, and really think, okay, what are the things you like? What are the things, if you had to do it all over again, would you do all over again? And all those things. And I would say a lot of it too is confirmation. we talk about an SEC approach, and Coach Saban talks about it all the time. Going into our last year at Tennessee, we had won 9 games 2 years in a row. We were the second winningest program in the Southeastern Conference behind Alabama. We were 15-4. We had 2 top 25 finishes. We had beat Florida and Georgia back to back, which I want to say is the first time done in 12 or 15 years. So we had done things that hadn't been done in 12 to 15 years in that program. And all of a sudden, you're at 4-6 and you get fired. And that was a year that I had we had a talk with our administration. If we were 6-6, that was going to be a great year for us because we had lost so many players to the NFL draft. They hadn't had anybody drafted in, I want to say, 6 or 7 years. So you're really able to self-reflect, and then being able to go to Alabama. And, I had an opportunity to go to a lot of places, but we always talk about be comfortable, being uncomfortable. And I had to live that. And it was the 3 most remarkable years I've ever had, especially this past year. But I think just staying the course, not being result oriented. I would beat myself up on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We got to win. We got to win. We got to win. We got to win. And all I did was probably create anxiety amongst me and the coaching staff where, hey, we're going to prepare. We're going to go into the game and the sun will come up tomorrow. And we're just working to be the best version of us. Understand everything in our profession is judged upon 12 weeks out of the year. You either are good or you stink based on win or loss. There's no gray area. Okay. So you prepare all year, and then 17 to 22-year-old individuals really dictate your future on 12 weeks out of the year. So there can be no my bads. There can be no off days on those 12 weeks out of the year. That's why the mental conditioning aspect of it is so important. But I would say probably really be process oriented instead of results driven.
Yes, definitely. And sort of getting into the nuts and bolts of the program itself, we've had several questions submitted wanting to know your thoughts on, based on the talent that you've seen on the team currently, like what are you going to do as far as offense and defense? Like what strategies, what game plans are you going to use
Sure.
in regards to that?
Well, the biggest thing is being able to adapt and adjust to the skill set of your players. That's very, very important. And right now, we're learning more and more about our team as we continue to go. I told our players this, you have a fresh start. You're starting at ground zero. You get to build your own identity. So every day you're not only building who we are as a football team, but you're building your own personal identity every single day. So you can't say that you didn't get an opportunity, and you can't say it's the coach's fault, because everybody's at ground zero and you are responsible for what you create on a daily basis. By the way you go to class, by your academics, by your work ethic, on time, by your character off the field. You're creating your own personal brand, because we didn't know anybody in the room. The only person I knew was Lane Hatcher. That was it. So we've really talked about that. But in terms of offense, defense, offensively, we're going to run a lot of the things that have been done in the past here. Keith Heckendorf is our offensive coordinator. I interviewed Keith when I was at Tennessee. I've known Keith for a long time and have a tremendous amount of respect for him. But we're also, going to do a lot of things that we did at Alabama. So it's going to be kind of a conglomeration, so to speak, of what we did at Alabama, what we've done here at Arkansas State in the past, and create some different things. But it's all about creating matchups for your players and putting them in the best positions to succeed and play into their skill sets. Defensively, we'll go back to a 4-man front. We want to be aggressive. We want to be downhill. All defense is attacking the ball. You're attacking the ball in every snap and being very disciplined and very detail oriented. And our defensive coordinator is Rob Harley. He comes to us from the University of Pittsburgh. where he was there for a number of years. They've played great defense there. He has a great pedigree. So we're excited about those two individuals. And then, winning the game on special teams as well. And I think the big thing is players understanding the synergy that it takes amongst offense, defense, and special teams, in playing what we call complementary football in all three phases working together. The one thing I found out when I got the job is I tried to meet with as many players as I could before they left for break, to kind of find out about the culture. And we had a very fragmented football program. Guys didn't know each other's names. They didn't like each other. There was a big rift between offense and defense. So we do name tests in our meetings. I think you've probably seen where our offensive line coach took the defensive backs out to dinner. So we've done a lot of cross-sectional, getting to know each other type things. And if you don't have synergy in your program, if they don't understand how three facets work together, you're going to have no chance for success. So a lot of those team building things that will add into what we do scheme has been very important to us.
I think the team building aspect is so beneficial in that regard. I think that's going to make a total change and turnaround with the culture of the program. I think that's fantastic. And now we're going to hit the topic that everyone wants to talk about, and that is A-State playing University of Arkansas in 2025 at War Memorial Stadium. Everybody
Yes.
kind of know your thoughts on that coming from an SEC background. So what do you have to say about that?
I'm ecstatic. I think it's great for the entire state of Arkansas. I think it's great for these two institutions, and I think it's need to be done on a yearly basis. And why wouldn't it be done on a yearly basis? You think about it, especially it being played in Little Rock and in War Memorial Stadium, where the entire state of Arkansas gets to come together on a Saturday afternoon and watch their two schools play. It is so healthy for the economy. It's healthy for our entire state. And I do think it's something that should be done on a yearly basis. And hats off to our administration for making this a reality in 2025. But, I've been very outspoken that I would like for this to continue and this be a part of our culture. It's a part of our state. Why would we not play? We play 4 non-conference games. So why would you not make that one of the 4 non-conference games every year? And I just think it's exciting, it's healthy for everything, and it's great for the state of Arkansas.
I totally agree. And I know the fans are so excited about it. We can't wait for 2025 to get here. We're just glad it's finally coming to fruition for all of the fans all across the state to have that opportunity, especially to play in Little Rock. I think it's fantastic to do that for sure. This kind of piggybacks on that. What is your approach to scheduling non-conference games? Do you look more towards exposure, geographical issues, revenue that's generated? Is there a specific thing that you look for in scheduling those?
Yeah, in our new director of athletics, Tom Bone, and I have spoke about this, and we're on the same page. And having been at Central Michigan, the challenges are at our level is your non-conference schedule, but your non-conference schedule can dictate everything. It can dictate the morale of your team. It can dictate the fan attendance. It can dictate admissions. It can dictate affinity. It can dictate everything. I want to play Arkansas every single year. And I do know with, the economic challenges and all that, you need to bring in and go and have, what some people deem, maybe I don't like the term, but a money game. But, you're going to play one of those. And then I want to have an opportunity to win 3 games. And if you're kind of in a scheduling makeup, like at Central Michigan, we built it where if we could be 3-1 to 2-2 in our non-conference games, we had an opportunity to do a lot of things. I think when especially if you're going on the road and you're playing a lot of high level programs, you can decimate your football program with injuries, morale, all those things that goes into it. So I think, being very creative in your non-conference scheduling is paramount in the overall success of your football program. But I do like the opportunity of being able to have a high exposure game and being able to get your players to compete at the highest level. But I'm also a realist to know that, there's some other things and other dynamics that go into the non-scheduling portion of your schedule. And, we have a very, very challenging, I told our team this, we're building our toughness right now because I think we have the most demanding schedule in the Sun Belt. I don't know if what we're doing has ever been done in the history of scheduling, but we have 3 road games, one of them being a road game all the way to Washington. We have 3 consecutive road games, and then we turn around and we play a Thursday night game at home. So your turnaround for preparation is cut in half. And so it's a great opportunity, but it's also going to be a great challenge for us. So our mental toughness with what we're going through right now, we have to go through it because we're going to need that when we go through that grind.
Mhm. Do you have a spring football game in the works?
Yep, that's April 17th.
Okay.
And we'll have more to come in terms of COVID restrictions and where we're at in attendance. But, right now we're planning on having a game and excited to see everyone there.
Mhm. I know we have our first 2 games are UCA from Conway, and then we have Memphis. What are your thoughts on those being the first 2 out of the gate, kind of some rivalries that we have?
We need to sell the stadium out. Why
Absolutely.
not?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
again, that's the vision. I have this great office that overlooks the stadium. And before I leave, I walk out on the balcony every day and I visioned a tremendous home field advantage. And in my meetings with our players, the first thing I ask them is, tell me what it's like to be a student athlete here at Arkansas State. What do you like best about playing football here? And everybody talks about the passion and the excitement in the community. And so again, being a leader, you get to paint the vision. But you know what? I'm excited to open up at home. I'm excited to play here. I'm excited to feel the energy. And I know we're responsible to create a product on the field that everybody can be proud of and come to the games. But I am on a mission to make this a great home field advantage because we have a very challenging home schedule. And in order to win championships, you need to win your home games. And in order to do that, uh, it has to be a great home field advantage. And in today's dynamics of TV, it's easy for a lot of people to stay at home and have the amenities of being at home. So we have to create the amenities away from home. And how can we do that? Create a great environment. I mean, I'm talking about a student led, a fan based environment, the way you play the music, okay, the videos on the scoreboard, the different types of tailgating, and then getting everyone in the stadium, creating that excitement. Again, it starts with the student section. All those things, we have to think creatively and have a great marketing plan is how can we get people to the games? If it's me going around to the community and giving each business 25 tickets, hey, give your best employees, give them 4 tickets to bring them and their children. Now, you talked about middle school coaches. Part of building an affinity for Arkansas State is getting these youngsters here when they're young so we can influence them in everything that they do. I'm even thinking about having a little Red Wolf decal and bring it to every youth little league football team in town and asking them to put it on the back of their helmets. Again, thinking strategically, how can we build our brand to take us to where we want to go?
I think that that's definitely key. And I look back to when A-State played at Alabama, and I was at that game, and just the environment there, the culture they have, the excitement. I mean, we would love to see that here. and just people being
And
vested.
there's no reason why we shouldn't have it here. We have a great product. We have a great university. We're all extremely prideful. We just got to all get together for one common cause and say, you know what? This is an opportunity to take the next step to elevate our university. And I'm going to tell you what will happen because it happened at Central Michigan. Our enrollment, we had to close down at Central Michigan. We started winning at a high level. When you win at a high level, you gain national notoriety. And all of a sudden, high school students want to be part of that experience. Collegiate athletics is so valuable in the entire academic experience, of making Saturdays a great tradition, all those things. And so all that is very, very important, I think, to the overall health and well-being of an entire college campus.
Definitely. Totally agree with that. We're nearing the end of our session. I just want to give it back to you if there's anything you'd like to say in closing.
Well, again, you guys are welcome to come to practice. I appreciate everything that you do. Just for the opportunity to spend an hour with you over your lunchtime today means a lot. And I hope you know that I'm on a mission. We're all on a mission to make this the greatest place we can. I will tell you this, we have tremendous leadership here at Arkansas State. I'm telling you, I've been at a number of institutions, and what we have here is not like any other place, and we can never take that for granted. So I'm just excited to be a part of it. If anyone has any ideas in the student section or moving forward or anything, let me know. I'm all in. But I am honored and proud to be your head football coach. And I want to create a product. I want to create a program that's going to win consistently on a consistent basis, year in and year out. And I know what we've been able to do here in the past, and I know that we can do it again. Are there going to be some growing pains? Absolutely. But we're going to get it done. And I'm excited to be on this journey. And again, I'm excited to be your football coach. And we have a great staff. And I'm already looking forward to our 2:30 afternoon meeting with our team today of getting better. We end our spring tomorrow, and then they're getting the fatherly lecture on COVID and on representing Arkansas State on spring break. And the logo never comes off, no matter where you're at. And then we'll come back on that following Sunday, and we'll have a COVID test. We'll get the results back, and hopefully we'll be able to move forward in finishing our spring. So I just thank you for your time, and look forward to meeting everyone.
Thank you so much, Coach Jones. We are also excited to have you here. We anticipate a fantastic football season, and we would love to have all the alumni come back and be there for that September 4th game against UCA. I think that'll be a great kickoff to a really fun season, and hopefully we can pack that stadium. So thank you so much for everything, and I hope everybody will join us. We'll have another Lunch and Learn in April. Just be on the lookout for details on that one, and we will wrap it up for today. Everybody have a safe and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you.